Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to present a poem by Cui Hao. The title of the poem is 黄鹤楼, or the Yellow Crane Tower. This poem is so good that allegedly Li Bai put down his brows after reading this poem, would not write anything about the Yellow Crane Tower. As competitive as Li Bai, this is certainly not the end of the story. Li Bai held this grudge for years until he visited the Phoenix Terrace and composed a poem in a similar style to this poem. So today, I'm presenting this poem unveiled by Li Bai. And you can see how beautiful this poem is. I'll present Li Bai's copycat poem in my next video. I'm Dr. Gao, a philosopher obsessed with poetry. I make videos about the classical Chinese poetry, philosophy, and traditional Chinese medicine. Please click the like button and subscribe my channel. Your support is very important to me. I also offer online lessons on these subjects. If you would like to have personally tailored lessons or read the classical Chinese text with me, please contact me. Here's my email address. Before I translate today's poem, I would like to talk a little bit about the poet Cui Hao. Cui Hao was born around the same time as Li Bai and Wang Wei, around 700 CE. Unlike Li Bai or Wang Wei, Cui Hao was from one of the most powerful families of the early Tang Dynasty, the Cui of Bolin. During the 289 years of the Tang Dynasty, there were 16 premiers from the Cui of Bolin and countless middle and low-rank officials from this family. Cui Hao showed poetic talent quite young and passed the test for the title of Imperial Scholar around 20 years old in 723 CE. You can imagine for the Cui clan to have a young man with such talent and achievement, they were willing to invest any resources to advance his political career so that he could obtain the high-rank office and consolidate the family's political influence. The Cui of Bolin was so influential that many of the young scholars of the time would do anything to relate to them. For instance, the great Tang poet Wang Wei was related to the Cui of Bolin. Both his mother and wife was from the Cui family. I'm sure Wang Wei and his brother Wang Jin benefited substantially from such relations. Both the Wang brothers passed the imperial exam in their early 20s. So, it is not surprising that Cui Hao passed the examination when he was quite young. However, Cui Hao did not obtain any high-ranked position during his lifetime. He did not even get a position at the capital like Wang Wei early on. He spent most of his life shifting from one low-ranked position to another far away from the capital Chang'an. What happened? Well, this might have something to do with his wanton behavior in his youth. Cui Hao was a typical spoiled brat when he was young. He drank, gambled, and went hunting with spoiled brats from other politically influential families. And worst of all, he made many enemies among such families through marriages. You might ask, how would one make enemy while marriages? Didn't most powerful families build political allies by marriages? Well, Cui Hao's family tried to do just that for him. However, Cui Hao apparently had other ideas. He declared he would only marry the most beautiful woman. Due to his wealthy and powerful family background, he did marry the most beautiful girl in town, but only to abandon her soon after. Then he married another beautiful girl and abandoned her again. He did this not just once or twice, he did it 4 times. I have reason to believe that these ladies were from similarly influential families like the Cui of Berlin, if not as politically influential as the Cui, because that was the custom at the time. Apparently, Cui Hao's behavior was unacceptable at any time, let alone in the Tang Dynasty China. Such behavior would not just ruin his own reputation, but brought shame to the whole Cui clan. Eventually, Cui Hao's reputation got so bad that he had to leave the capital and travel to distant province to get a job. Another reason that contributed to Cui Hao's failure of advancing his political career might be his arrogance. As I mentioned earlier, Cui Hao was a talented poet and established a reputation as such since he was quite young. One of the influential scholar officials named Li Yong invited Cui Hao to his home. Yes, this was the Li Yong who rejected Li Bai, and Li Bai composed a poem complaining about him. I posted a video presenting Li Bai's poem a while ago. Here's the link. So, such invitation was a valuable opportunity for any scholar. According to Tang Caizhi Zhuan, or the biographies of the Tang talents, Li Yong heard about Cui Hao's poetic talent and invited him over quite formally to the hall at his home and asked about his poetry. Cui Hao presented a poem in the title of Wang Jia Shao Fu, or the Young Mistress of the Wang. Now, let me read the Chinese text and the translation of this poem. 15嫁王昌，盈盈入画堂。至今年最少，复以续为郎。吾爱前溪绿，歌怜子夜长。闲来斗百草，度日不成妆。At 15, I entered the beautifully decorated hall and married Wang Chang. I'm the youngest lady in the Wang household and supported by my husband, the young official. I love to dance by the Green Creek and sing songs late into midnight. I play the flower game at leisure, can't be bothered to dress up properly for the daytime. Li Yong read the poem and became furious and shouted, "How dare you be so rude!" and stormed out. Now, let me explain why Li Yong became so angry. I talked about the Gan Ye, or self-introduction poem, before in my video about Meng Haoran, and analyzed why his poem failed to impress the intended patron. Maybe I should also present a successful Gan Ye poem one day. Anyway, Cui Hao's poem infuriated Li Yong in several ways. Of course, it is not because Cui Hao assumed a woman's role in this poem, because it was quite common in such poems to take a woman's role. What infuriated Li Yong was the flirtatious tone and the arrogance shown in this poem. The poem starts by stating that the young lady married the most handsome man, Wang Chang. This reference to Wang Chang was first allured by the king Xiaoran of the Liang Kingdom of the 5th to 6th century CE in his poem 河中之水歌, or a song for a river, in which Wang Chang represents a handsome and wealthy young man that all girls want to marry. By the Tang Dynasty, Wang Chang had become a symbol of high-status young man. But in a Ganye poem, this statement is rather inappropriate. Since the young lady in the poem is a self-reference, it shows that Cui Hao was very proud of the high social status of his family. This also meant that he did not need to climb up the social ladder. Then the poem goes on to say that she also adored by her husband, meaning Cui Hao had all the support he needed to advance his career. The third couplet shows what a luxurious life the lady has, which meant Cui Hao was not interested to get a good job to improve his life. The last couplet is the worst. It declares that the lady can't be bothered to dress up properly for daytime. This implies that Cui Hao couldn't be bothered to abide the social norm, such as showing respect to a senior official like Li Yong. No wonder Li Yong got so mad. After this encounter, no one else would ever recommend Cui Hao for a job. From the 730s to the 750s, there are very little record about his whereabouts except what was recorded in Cui Hao's poems. From his poems, we learned that he traveled extensively around the Tang Empire, especially to the frontier. His poetic tone and style also changed substantially after he left the capital. During his youth, Cui Hao composed many poems about the feelings of young women and their lives in a rather flirtatious style. However, after he left the capital, his poetry shifted its focuses to the knight-errant and the frontier. In his knight-errant poems, although those young warriors were vain and acted recklessly sometimes, they were nonetheless courageous and willing to fight for the empire. Clearly, such poems are self-portraits, as well as representations of the young man like himself. It is quite interesting that many of his poems shared more similarities to those of Li Bai rather than Wang Wei. Before I go through most of his knight-errant poems, I thought Cui Hao's poem would be more like those of Wang Wei's rather than that of Li Bai, given the fact that Cui Hao and Wang Wei belong to the same class, and they might even distantly related. Apparently, their personality were very different. Cui Hao shared more personality traits with Li Bai than with Wang Wei. No wonder Li Bai fell in love with Cui Hao's poem right away. Cui Hao also composed many poems about the hard life at the frontier. His frontier poems are so good that he was known as one of the best 边塞诗人 or the frontier poets in the following centuries. I read most of his frontier poems, and I have to say they are brilliant. I might present one or two of his frontier poems in the future. There is no doubt that Cui Hao had made a name for himself as a poet way before Li Bai. He was as influential as Wang Wei in the later Tang poetic tradition, but due to the wanton behavior of his youth, his poetry was mostly ignored during his lifetime. Poets of the late Tang Dynasty either didn't care about how Cui Hao behaved or was ignorant of his behaviors. They simply admired his poetry, and his frontier poetry was highly regarded. There are 42 of his poems included in the 全唐诗, or the complete collection of Tang Dynasty poems. Now, let me read the famous poem in Chinese first. 昔人已乘黄鹤去，此地空余黄鹤楼。黄鹤一去不复返，白云千载空悠悠。晴川历历汉阳树，芳草萋萋鹦鹉洲。日暮乡关何处是？烟波江上使人愁。Now, let's look at the first two couplets. 昔人已乘黄鹤去，此地空余黄鹤楼。黄鹤一去不复返，白云千载空悠悠。昔 means past, 人 means people. 昔人 literally means people of past. However, here the term refers to the immortals who visited the Yellow Crane Tower. According to Nan Qi Shu, or the history of the Southern Qi of the 5th century CE, an immortal named Zi'an visited the tower riding on a yellow crane. By the Tang Dynasty, the immortal visited the tower became a general named Fei Wei from the Three Kingdom period, who visited the tower to have a break. Yi means already, Cheng means ride, Huang means yellow, He means crane, Qu means gone, Ci means this, Di means place, 空余 means deserted. 黄鹤楼 is the Yellow Crane Tower. I actually told quite a bit about the history of the Yellow Crane Tower in my other video. Here is the video clip. 黄鹤 again refers to the yellow crane. 一去 means once gone. 不 means not. 复返 means return. 白 means white. 云 means cloud. 千 means thousand. 载 means year. 空 also means in wind. 悠悠 means floating. So the two couplets can be translated as the immortals already went away on their yellow cranes, and the Yellow Crane Tower is deserted. The yellow cranes are gone, never to return. Only white clouds float for thousands of years in wind. 晴川历历汉阳树，芳草萋萋鹦鹉洲。日暮乡关何处是？烟波江上使人愁。晴 means fine day. 川 means river. 历历 means clearly. Han refers to the Han River. Yang refers to the northern bank of a river. Shu means tree. Fang means fragrant. Cao means grass. Qi qi means thick. Ying wu refers to parrot. Zhou means athlete. 日暮 refers to the dusk. Xiang refers to hometown. Guan refers to the gates of a town. During Imperial China, all towns were guarded by walls and gates. Hence, 相关 just means hometown. 何处 means where. 是 means is. Yan refers to mist. 波 means waves. 江 refers to the Yangtze River. 上 means on. 使 means make. 人 means person, but here it is used as a self-reference, so we translate it as me. 愁 means sad. So the two couplets can be translated as, on a fine day, the trees on the northern bank of the Han River can be clearly seen. Parrot Islet is thick with fragrant grass. Where is my hometown at this dusk? The mist gathered over Yangtze River makes me sad. This poem has been praised for more than 1,000 years by countless scholars and poets as one of the best 七律, or the 7-character regulated poems. Some praise it for its elegant style, others for the musical qualities in its rhythm, and still others for its grandeur tempo and spatial scales, etc. The first two couplets present a scene with a strong cosmological and spiritual significance, as if a philosopher contemplating the meaning of life and the purpose of the universe. The mountains and rivers in this place are so beautiful, even the immortals would visit them here. But now the immortals are all gone for thousands of years. Comparing with the vast open space of the landscape and the eternal life of the immortals, how pathetically short is the human life. Life seems so insignificant. What is the purpose of human life? The focal point of these two couplets is emptiness. The empty yellow crane tower, the emptiness of the sky, most of all, the emptiness felt by the poet. They are all intertwined, provoking a profound sense of absurdity in the readers. Why are we here? Is there any meaning for us to be here? Is there any significance in our lives? What really interested me here as a philosopher is that all these questions are just implied but never clearly presented or addressed. Of course, poetry is probably not the best media to address philosophical questions. But one poet named Tao Yuanming did compose many poems addressing philosophical questions explicitly. Maybe I should talk about one of his philosophical poems one day. Such melancholy, triggered by the absurdity of life, is likely brushed away in the third and fourth couplets. We are quickly brought back to the here and now, as well as the worldly emotion of missing home, as if those philosophical contemplation is simply a showing off of the poetic creativity. What do you think? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm Dr. Gao, a philosopher obsessed with poetry. I make videos about classical Chinese poetry, philosophies, and traditional Chinese medicine. Please click the like button and subscribe my channel. Your support is very important to me. Thanks for watching my video. I'll see you next time.